Hello there, guys. I was presented with this study, which is really, really beautiful. White to move and win this. We have two pieces for the queen, and somehow we are going to win this. I can tell you that Stockfish doesn't see the victory from here. I have to help him out with a couple of moves before he realize how white wins this. So this is not easy, but of course you can do your magic thing with pausing the video and really think hard about this and see if you can find out how white wins this in the end. Go ahead. All right, welcome back. Was it easy? I guess not, but maybe you did find it. Okay, we need, of course, to be aggressive here. We cannot do some passive move here. We are threatened by the queen. Our knight is hanging. Somehow we need to get this king entangled and checkmated, or just do something about it. Well, so I'm just going to give you some examples here. If we move this knight, which is in under attack, well, this is not doing anything. Then we let the king escape. He can come here. The queen will come out, and we don't really have anything for that. So we cannot move the knight. We need to give a check. But this check is totally pointless. It allows the king to come to a4. He will go from there, go to b3, and he's out, and we are still threatened by the queen. No, so I think you found the first move. It's a check with the bishop. And you see, of course, there's only one legal move for black, and that is to put his pawn in between. Again, we don't want to mess with these pawns. They are good here. They're blocking all of this, so we have to keep them. So we take this pawn with the bishop. And again, a forced move to b5. Okay, now we get the chance to move our knight with a tempo. So we can put it on d6 with a check again. Another force move for black, king to b6. But now he is threatening to get out here. The queen is threatening to get out here. And we really need to do something about it. And now, from here, this is the question. Now where the hard one begins. How do white win from here? If you need to pause the video again, go ahead. All right, here we go. We have a fantastic, beautiful move here. We're going to stop the king from coming to c7, and we're going to do it by sacrificing our bishop on a5. This check is just brilliant. We see, of course, that if black takes this with the queen, we have a nice little fork here with the check, and we take the queen, and from there, there's no chance for black. This is easy for us. Just go pick this pawn, and we're one pawn up, and this is easy win for white. So obviously he's not going to take the bishop with the queen, but he has to take the bishop because the king cannot move anywhere else. So he really needs to take the bishop with the king, which is good because now we got him back to a5, and we can follow up with a check down here. Now black has two moves, two choices: either move the king to b5 or just sacrifice his queen. But again, if we sacrifice the queen, obviously we take back, and we are one pawn up. Maybe he will attack our a pawn like this, but this is just too slow for him. We can counterattack with d5, or we can just play along king e4 to attack here. Once he go down here, then he cannot catch our pawns, and we will just start running like this. And this is an easy win for white also. So let's see what happens if he moves the king to b5 instead. Now look at this position. The king is here, but everything here, all the squares around him, are covered by either a knight or any of our three pawns. So the king cannot really go anywhere. And look at this. The queen cannot go anywhere either. It's totally dominated. Anywhere he goes, like this, it's covered by our knight or by this pawn. And if the queen comes to b7 or c8, well, then we have a nice little fork here on d6 again to win the queen. So it's our turn now, but we realize now this is a Zugzwang. Black cannot move this pawn or the king or the queen. Can only move any of these two pawns, and we're gonna play on that. So we're not in a hurry here. We know he can only move his two pawns, so we're just gonna make sure we block everything. So the correct move, the only move to win from here, is King f4. You might wonder why we can't go with the king to e4. Let me show you why. If we go here instead, black can play f5 with a check. We cannot take it. The queen will come here with a check, and then he's really out anywhere he wants to go, and we will lose this for sure. And if we then instead block this pawn, then he can push the c pawn, and he has these two marked squares here for his queen, and we cannot cover both in one move. So it's very, very important that we start with king f4 from that position. Don't give him the satisfaction of sacrificing his pawn here. Okay, so we looked at this shortly just now. What the point of black moving his pawn to c5 is, of course, that he wants to make this square available for him. If this happens, we see pretty quick also, I think, that we move our pawn, and then we block all these squares for the queen as well. But let's look what happens if we doesn't do that first, but instead he start with f5. And now he's threatening to push this pawn and get all of these squares available for the queen. So after f5, again, only one move is winning for white. Can you see it? Pause the video again if you need, or otherwise I'll show you now. Yes, you're right. We are playing the king to g5. Then we're blocking these three squares as well. If the pawn comes up now, well, he's trying that anyway. We just push this pawn, and now you see every square on this sixth rank is covered by the king, the pawn, or the knight. And still, of course, if it comes to any of these squares, we still have this beautiful fork that wins the queen for us. So the queen cannot move, the king cannot move, this pawn cannot move anymore. He will just move his f4 pawn. And now the final move to just settle the win for us. It's nice, it's pretty obvious, but of course it doesn't make it less beautiful. We simply play f3, and now he's really in a zugzwang. The queen cannot come anywhere, but that's the only piece he's allowed to move. So let's put it there. We give a check. We take the queen, and I'll let you have the opportunity to win this on your own. I'm sure you can fix this. Very easy win for white. All right, I hope you enjoyed this study. Thank you everybody for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye bye.